My respects to the Program Director, Excellencies, High Commissioners of Malawi and Madam Malawi, and of Gambia and Madam Gambia, and of course, Madam Lesotho, Dr. Asif Iqbal, President of IETO, Honorable Mulan, Trade Commissioner of ICTC, our ex-minister and former chief minister, right? Fellow diplomats from Malawi and Gambia, distinguished guests of the dais. I can see my friends who have come to bless this occasion. Wonderful audience, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me, first and foremost, to thank India Commonwealth Trade Council, ICTC, and India Economic Trade Organization, IETO, for the invitation to be part of this auspicious gathering meant to promote the noble cause of the Commonwealth of discussing and promoting trade among members and nations of the world. At the outset, let me briefly tell you about my country, the Kingdom of Lesotho, also known as the Kingdom in the Sky, or the Roof of Africa, or the Switzerland of Africa, because of her high altitude. Lesotho is the southmost, small, least developed, landlocked African state that sits at the center of the Republic of South Africa with a population of 2.4 million people. The Kingdom of Lesotho has the highest, lowest point of any country in the world, making her the highest country in the world, with a beautiful scenery for outdoor life, snow in winter for skiing, 0% carbon print, and a plethora of benefits for good health. We are 1,400 meters above sea level. That is our lowest point. And I believe you know that your lowest point is 2 meters below sea level. And I always encourage people around here that if you visit Lesotho and spend 1 week in Lesotho, your age will be reduced by 1 year. Given the atmosphere, given the air that will be breathing in Lesotho, we are good for cardiovascular health. Lesotho exports the following. We have big stones of diamonds, which unfortunately is exported raw. So we are looking for investors into opening more mines of diamonds in Lesotho and cutting and polishing of diamonds, because unfortunately we lose a lot of money because we export our diamonds raw. We also have plenty of pure water. Our water requires very little treatment. So we export bulk water to South Africa through tunnels. We have built huge dams in Lesotho through which we supply South Africa with water. So this water is also good for bottling. I have drunk water here in India, and the water that comes closer to our water in Lesotho is the water from the Himalaya. So if you can drink our water, you can hesitate to drink water in India, except from Himalaya. We also produce fish in the form of trout that forms our export too. We also raise or rear sheep and goats, from which we cut wool and mohair, which we export to South Africa raw, and South Africa exports to the world. If you follow the exportation of wool and mohair, you'll find that South Africa is Africa's largest producer of quality wool. That wool that South Africa has glory for comes from Lesotho. So if we could get investors to come and help us to add value to our wool in Lesotho from India, that would help us a lot. We are also exporters of apparel. Just like Malawi, we are also having a contract with the Americans under a program called AGOA, where we knit clothes under the support of the Americans, and then we export to the whole world. We are still looking for orders from India. We don't have orders from India to supply you with jeans. We produce a lot of jeans in Lesotho, which could also add to your imports from Lesotho. We also have sandstone. We also export sandstone. And the main priorities in Lesotho are, of course, in clean energy, where we produce electricity from hydropower. We also have an opportunity to produce clean hydrogen, of course, wind power and solar energy. Those are our priorities, and we are, of course, looking for investors to help us into this. Another priority is in agriculture. We are looking for investors to help us uplift and capacitate us in our agriculture. Lesotho is an agricultural land where we are looking for investors to help us grow our agriculture. Here we are looking at machinery, fertilizer, and seeds. Program Director, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Lesotho is one country in Africa that was never colonized. And Lesotho is a member of the Commonwealth. So people ask themselves and ask me and wonder, how can you, Lesotho, be a member of the Commonwealth if you were not colonized? And I want to thank Dr. Iqbal for this invitation, because it gives me an opportunity to explain how Lesotho is a member of the Commonwealth, and yet it was never colonized. History tells that in 1824, King Moshoeshoe I united the Basotho nation under one rule on a plateau called Tababosiu, mountain at night, where they resisted to be colonized. Basotho defeated the British, Basotho defeated the Dutch on this plateau. but all her neighbors were colonized and clubbed together to form the Republic of South Africa. This is how Lesotho became an enclave of South Africa, accessible by air, land and road, and her currency loot is pegged to the ZAR, or the rand of South Africa. Our proximity to South Africa is both a positive and a negative to us, because since it is very easy for Basotho to go to South Africa, that makes us to be dependent on South Africa on many things. Ladies and gentlemen, the Basotho nation was founded in 1824, and next year is 2024. The Basotho nation will be celebrating their 200 years. And of course, you are invited, Doctor, with all your investors, all your members, you are invited to come and celebrate with Basotho their 200 years. Now, being at the center of South Africa did not give Basotho peace, as the nation was always under attack by different nations. And Moshoeshoe had to use diplomacy and fighting tactics. So in 1843, King Moshoeshoe I then decided to sign a treaty for Lesotho's protection with the British government. That was in 1843, when Lesotho became a protectorate of Britain. On October 4th, 1966, the Basotho land then got her independence and changed her name to the Kingdom of Lesotho and became a member of the Commonwealth. The Kingdom of Lesotho is a democratic, sovereign, and an independent country. Elections are held every 5 years, where we use Westminster system. There is a bicameral parliament, 2 houses of parliament, and 3 arms of government. The king is the constitutional monarch or ceremonial head of state, and the prime minister is the head of government. Program director, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is common knowledge that Commonwealth helps member countries improve their global trade competitiveness by developing their export capabilities and boosting trade between member states to create prosperity for all. Lesotho has benefited immensely from the Commonwealth in many ways. I'll just mention a few. For being a member of a bigger family, she learns from her peers and is presently undergoing reforms in many sectors of governance to deepen democracy. These reforms are in electoral system, media rights, parliament, and so on and so forth, under the watch of the Commonwealth and SADC. 2, with Commonwealth assistance, Lesotho has made great strides in implementing anti-corruption laws, helping Lesotho to get a good score on Transparency International's Corruption Perception Index. In Lesotho, members of parliament, councillors and civil servants are expected by law to declare their assets. 3, Lesotho has used the Commonwealth education policy framework to help it improve governance and capacity in its educational system. Literacy rate in Lesotho is 86%, and medium of instruction is English. 4, and the last, in December 2019, the Secretariat experts worked with Lesotho to review her trade policy. They also helped the country explore new products and new markets for export to grow her economy. COVID was a setback, but we are, of course, getting back. The list is endless. Program Director, fellow speakers, respectable audience, allow me to once again thank the organizers of this event for the hospitality. Ambassadors have already thanked you for the hospitality, for the food. I need not repeat, the food here is good, the weather here is good, everything is good, and I was telling them that if it was possible, we would relocate to Kochi. It was so beautiful. We had the best sleep in India when we were in Kochi. And of course, I also thank the organizers for having given us an opportunity to address you as a distinguished audience. And we wish you a great evening. And let me make you aware that today we are celebrating 3 anniversaries or birthdays. Or 1, we are celebrating the birthday of the office of the Commonwealth in Kochi. I think you can clap hands for that. We are also celebrating the 40 years of marriage of Honorable Molan and the wife. Can you stand up? Happy 40th anniversary. And lastly, Dr. Iqbal, lastly, we are, of course I'm here representing the King of Lesotho. We are celebrating the birthday of His Majesty the King of Lesotho, who today is celebrating his 60th birthday. Happy birthday to the King. Thank you very much, and long live to the Commonwealth, long live. Thank you very much.